Free dropshipping course. Free dropshipping course.
What's going on, guys? This is the Ecom boss, and in today's video I'm coming at you guys with a free dropshipping course. I will call it a course on launching your first product. This is not a complete course, but what we're going to do, we're going to go on a course on how to find your first product, also how to, once you find it on AliExpress, find content for it, go and get text for your description, video ads, pictures, everything, find competitors, and also how to run ads for your first product. If you guys have been running products already, you are a little bit experienced, you could still learn something. I'm pretty confident you can. So that's basically it for the video. Product research, Facebook ads, and finding content. So we should probably get straight into it. I'll teach you guys how to get your first product launched, and like I said, if you're already experienced, still gonna learn something new. I'll promise you guys that. So always follow this model when you're trying to test a new product. So I just dropped a course, guys. It's gonna be the last time I plug it now, at least for a little bit of a while. And if you guys want to get into the course, the link will be in the description. It is pretty good. I'll gotta say it's one of the better dropshipping courses. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram or get into the coaching program with dropshipping, you can message me on Instagram here or just follow me. That's awesome. And please smash the like for the algorithm. If you guys are a true supporter of the Ecom boss, you press the like. And if you guys don't subscribe, your ads are gonna fail. Let's get inside of my computer. Okay, boys and girls, we're inside of my computer, and this is gonna be the free dropshipping course. I'm just gonna slide straight over. So what I'm gonna go over in this course is basically how a good looking website looks, and logos. We're gonna talk a little bit about that in a second. There's a lot of factors that plays into this. I want to cover a little bit already with the website. Your website doesn't have to be the best website in the world. However, it has to be a good website. It's not like you can get away with something super bad. But what I'm trying to say, by all of you guys coming at me and then saying like, no, the website is the most important thing in the world, is the customer are gonna be directed to your product page. So what's super important here is that your product page needs to be 10 out of 10. You need to have a perfect product page. That's the page, where people will see your product, they'll decide to buy. So that's where you got to play on emotions or play on whatever you plan to play on. So that's super important, guys. You need to have a good looking website, especially on the product pages and the collections. Should you have a good homepage? Yeah, of course you should have a good homepage, but I've seen a lot of scenarios when you don't have to do that and have the best homepages and still work because the product page is good. And when it comes to logos, I'll just make mine on Canva. It's super simple. So selling one product and making it look like a brand is something we're going to go over now. And that does not mean one product stores, because we're going to run general stores. We're going to sell one product, and it's going to make it seem like that product is branded. So you have a whole store, but you have a branded product on your store, if that makes sense. Also, I have to talk a little bit about upsells. You could use Shopify one-click upsell, how to get a higher average order value. Selling something for $20 and the upsell on a $9 product, you just made yourself $9 revenue. So upsells is definitely a key factor as well, and fastest shipping possible. You want to have a US supplier if you're going to make a lot of sales, because they usually ship out a little bit faster. If you can't have a US supplier, that's all good. And if that's not your case, you shouldn't just say like, I'm not going to dropship because I can't find a US supplier. Neither should you pass on the product. You should still run it, but hopefully you can try to find a US supplier. But fast shipping is going to be key if you want, to have huge results with dropshipping. It's important, but you can still get away with it without it. I've scaled up to 2, 3, 4K a day without it. Scaling to 1K a day, this course basically goes over everything you need to scale to 1K a day. So if you are planning on scaling to 1K a day, I think we're going to cover that. And then the testing phase, how to test a product, is going to go into that when we talk about Facebook ads, and then it's going to be product research. Finding products to sell. This part is probably, for me to be honest, this is the most tricky part. Finding products to sell, it's the hardest part. As the presentation says here, aim for $20 plus margin, but that's situational. This is the thing you guys got to keep in mind. You want to have a $20 plus, if not even higher margin on your product when you plan to sell it. But one thing that you guys will have to keep in mind is on, for example, a high ticket item that you buy for $100, you can't have a $20 margin and sell it for $120. That would be nonsense, right? So you'll have to figure out the different situations. Some products can be doubled, some can be 3x, 5x. I even have a guy in my coaching right now buying a product for $20, selling for $140. But that's not always the case. That's super rare, right? So you need to figure out a good margin for you. Most people spend money on their passions. That means if someone is really interested in golfing, for example, they might spend money on it. However, golfers probably get from the big brands because they're obviously really into the sport. But if it's a passion that doesn't, have a lot of huge brands, people spend a lot of money on their brands and hobbies. And this goes for Q4 too. A lot of people spend their money on brands and health. So the product won't work if you can't advertise it well. Super important here. I'm not saying, like run a saturated product, just market it with a different angle, because I don't really believe believe in that theory, even though it is possible. But I'm just saying the product won't work if you don't know how to run ads. If you have no idea how to run Facebook ads, or if you choose the most basic interest, this is the key here. On Facebook, you have to choose the good interest, because let's just say you made 2 sales of 1 interest. Those 2 sales wouldn't happen if you didn't choose that 1 interest. So if you don't have your interest game on point, then you don't know how to find good interest, or basically, you know, run it in general, scaling and everything. But first, when we're testing, it comes down to the interest. The product won't work if you can't do that. Problem solving is good, but there are other alternatives as a wow factor. That means, you know, for example, like some LED stuff glowing up in the darkest rooms. I don't know, like that's not a problem solver, but it's something unique, you know, something wow. You want to, and I feel this sometimes when I go product research with my students, I sometimes feel like, wow, this thing is cool. I've never seen it before. And that's the exact mindset you want for your customers. You want them to be like, wow, what is this thing? I've never seen it before. Let's click through it. But it could also be a problem solving product. So there's a lot of wow factor products, you know, such as LED fidget spinner, for example. I mean, that's old, but that's a wow factor. And for example, an acne remover, that's a problem solver. You have a problem with acne, you know, you solve it. You get an acne remover. So these are 2 different types of products. I usually like the wow factor products better, but both of them are good. And sometimes you get them combined too. There could be a wow factor and a problem solver. Research is only going to be done on AliExpress. And if you follow my strategy, I only do my product research on AliExpress by browsing the best match or the more to love / just for you section at the bottom of the homepage on AliExpress. But best match inside each category. If you want to hit big now, healthcare and skincare is going to be the hottest in Q4 in my opinion, and maybe sports, which niches are hot right now, and that's what I already covered. Healthcare, skincare, that's super hot niche. That's probably the best niches, or there's no doubt it's the best niche, especially for Q4. But I also think sports is cool and home improvement is pretty cool. Home and gardens has always been cool, but the outdoor niche is not too cool now. A good product will not work without good content, so you guys need to think about this. If you're going to spend $70, let's just say you test a product for $70 and you want to spend $20 or $30 on a video ad, you're already burning your chances. Like your chances could have been 40, 50 or even 100% higher if you had a video ad, but still you just want to go the cheap route. Sometimes you can't. So like the content is everything here. With good creatives, you probably won't work, right? So maybe you should get a video, but if there's a good picture, you could test with pictures too. I test with a lot of pictures, but that's got to be super good pictures, right? So just make sure your content is on point and you're targeting. So combine targeting, you know, interest you choose and the content, and you probably have a pretty good product. What's too saturated? The question I get every single day. You don't want to sell a product for more than 5,000 orders. 5,000 orders is saturated. However, I usually stick to the 4,000 order rule. Others selling it is okay. You do not have to worry if other people are selling your product. That's fine. But how many are selling your product? You want to catch the trend early. So if 2 people are selling your product now recently, that's actually a good sign. That's even better if no one did, because that means, you know, you can catch the trend early. It's all about catching these trends early. Check other suppliers, might be one with more orders. That's super important, because if you find a product and say this product only has $100, and this happened in my coaching all the time too, people bring me saturated price and they say like, no, it's not saturated, it only has 50 orders. But the thing that they don't understand is there are other suppliers that has this exact same product, and that's, you know, there are more orders on some of them. And there we go, guys. Just had a quick change of clothes and I had to go to the doctor to check out my vision, but don't worry, guys. I'm gonna start using glasses a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe right now. So is competitors a problem? We're talking competition. So one thing that a lot of people ask me is like, why wouldn't they go to another store? And the thing is, these customers, they just see it and want it now instantly. It's not like they go to another store. And that's the same for probably a lot of you guys. I'm not saying everyone, but I'm sure a lot of you guys, when you're shopping, you don't go to another store to see if you can find a shirt cheaper, right? So when they see this ad, they will just go ahead and get it. It really is as simple as that. And they can't just search up other dropshipping stores. It's pretty hard. Can they go to Amazon? Yeah, of course they can, but you can't take that into consideration every time, because everything is on Amazon anyways. If you just create a desire for them to just go on your page and purchase it, not everyone thinks about Amazon. Don't use Ecom and similar softwares I say down here. It's because I don't want you guys to just take bad ideas of products that obviously doesn't work. Ecom, for example, will only show you super saturated products, so it's a no-go for me. I don't recommend using it at all, and I'm not going to say too much more about it. How do you run traffic, guys? That's a question I get a lot. So Facebook ads is the wave. You want to do Facebook ads, and you should not do Instagram influencers. Influencers is short-term, and it's just not worth it in most cases, because on Facebook, if you have the skill on Facebook ads, you can basically print money. It will require some budget though to do Facebook ads, so I'm sorry if I have to bring it to you, but that's just how it is. But you can do it anyways. You can figure out a way to get money. You'll make the thing work, right? So the other thing is, like, Facebook is marketplace. Facebook is actually a shopping place, believe it or not. I mean, most people want to shop on Facebook, but Facebook has so many accounts that some people will actually do it. So expect to test products. This is super important key factor that I say right here. You have to expect to test products. It's like, you know, I probably tested like 20 products before I got success. If you work with someone who can guide you or knows what he or she is doing, it's probably going to be easier, and you will have to test less products, but still you need to expect to test products, and you should not put emotions into testing products. And that is a super important thing. I know I look a little pale today. I haven't been outside, but that's a super important thing you guys need to know. It's like a lot of people, they get emotional when they spend money on Facebook ads. They get sad because they're losing a product. But if you're gonna work like that, this thing is gonna be hard. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but you have to test some products, but that's fine. Because when you find a winner, it's all gonna work, and it could literally be your next product. Tomorrow you could have a winner, and today it could be broke. It can just change so quick. So you just have to keep going, guys. So Shopify, like I said earlier, it's kind of said it earlier, it's not a low budget as the gurus tell you. You'll probably have to spend some money making the perfect idea. You guys all have the perfect idea. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and you think that is gonna work. It's usually not the case. So that is just the truth. So you will have to figure that out. You will have to see what the market buys. The market dictates what you're gonna sell, sort of. You can sell something you are passionate about too, but it's gonna be something I could actually sell. So if you're watching anime, that doesn't mean you should sell anime products. You have to see what the market is up to, and your perfect idea is usually not a good idea. Testing can take some time. It can take up to 3 to 7 days, because sometimes the product is slow, sometimes it's not. I recommend when testing giving it 30 hours, and if you have no sales the first 30 hours, I usually cut it. Keep in mind though, guys, everything here is my strategy, right? That's how I do it. Nothing is really wrong unless you don't know what you're doing. There's a lot of strategies, but sometimes the product will pick up slowly, or maybe it didn't scale as quick as you thought, so we can take up to 7 days, because you have to sort of horizontal scale a little bit, which I often just call early scaling phase. Being profitable comes down to a lot of things. The first one is it comes down to your Facebook ads interest. If you choose good interest, this is the thing. If you have an ad set that generated 2 sales, that ad set would never made 2 sales if you choose another interest, most likely. So if you don't choose the right interest, it's gonna be hard to be profitable because you choose the wrong interest. You can't just choose sell as workout products and just sell like physical fitness and health and wellness, because it's usually just generic interest that everyone else is using. Do some generic interest, but you want to have some interest that stands out that you don't think everyone else is using, because it all comes down to your interest. Like if you have good interest, you can make the money. If not, it's gonna be harder. Next thing is introducing new content. You do not want to jump on other people's content and just rip it off them. If you want to test a product, you could compile a couple of videos into your own, or maybe order one, but introducing new content is important. And when we're talking about scaling phase, if you want to stay profitable while scaling your product, you have to creative scale. Always come with a new creative, always come with a new video, new thumbnail to show people something new, because it's the psychology of, I've seen the thing so many times, it's time to buy it. Another thing, just a quick fact here, the higher the revenue, the lower the profit margin is usually true. To see someone making 5 million a month with dropshipping, though, not with a brand like that's not dropshipping, but with dropshipping, if they make 1 million a month, the margin is usually just like 8 to 10%. It can be higher too, but I'm just saying, like, the higher revenue, usually lower profit margin. Install order metrics when scaling. Order metrics is a super cool app that shows your net profit. It calculates everything. If you need more insight on order metrics, you can Google it. Okay, guys, so this is how a testing phase could work, or maybe in early scaling phases. So let's say on October the 1st, it's just an example. October the 1st, you lose $60. October the 2nd, you lose 20, and then October the 3rd, you profit 20. So sometimes you have to be willing to lose some money to gather some data, but then you can be profitable once again. So here, over 3 days, we went from losing 60 to losing 20 to profiting 20, and that could increase to profiting 100, profiting 200. It can just increase like that. So sometimes you guys will have to lose some money to make some money, but usually my products, though, they're winning. They're usually profitable right out of the gate. The more you scale, the more you profit with the right strategy. That does not mean, upping the budget just to get a higher revenue for a screenshot. That's probably not the way to get a higher margin. If you scale properly, you know how to scale, you break the ad sets down correctly, you know how to run lookalike audiences, you'll most likely be more profitable because you know how to scale. Lose money to win money, like I said earlier, I'm not going to talk too much more about it. You will have to sometimes lose money to make money, but like I said, some of my winning products usually just profit instantly. Don't force a margin. Super important key factor. If you buy something for $1 and it's only worth 5, you can't make a margin up to 25. Some products are not worth a double. Some products are only worth 25 on AliExpress, and they're not worth 49 on your page, and that's the thing to keep in mind. Getting ads, content, preparing for the test phase. So purchase a video ad at trendingfacebookads.com. There's a link in my description, not because I'm making money, but because you guys want to use this link. I am affiliated though, so I'll make like $1 or something, but this guy is a friend of mine. He makes the best video ads. I think he's better than everyone else in the game because he produces super good results. It's not a promotion for him in any shape or form, so don't take it as an ad. I'm just actually trying to give you guys the best place to find video ads, and he's super cheap. He's cheaper than everyone else, and he makes super good video ads. I use them for my products, and they keep making huge successes because content is everything. One thing you can do in the testing phase, don't do this for your own ad later on, but in the testing phase, you can mix competitors' ads into your own, take some clips from there, and take clips from there, and from them, and everything, and then you have your own ad, and you could work with that to test, and then gather your own content later on. You could also combine GIFs into a video ad if you get the right order, because GIFs is, sort of like a video, so if you combine a lot of GIFs, you could use that for an ad, and you could also use a GIF for an ad. I know it's not GIF, it's probably called GIF, but that's fine. Use pics from Ali. I use pics from Ali all the time, especially if they're good. You can use the image from AliExpress. Usually I test with 1 video and 2 pictures from AliExpress, and it's always worth buying ads. This is super important, guys. So if you test a product, your chance probably be 30% higher to win, or 50, or maybe even 100% higher to win if you buy an ad. If you just get the right ad, your chances are going to increase to win. It's always worth investment. If you're going to spend $70 on Facebook ads, you might as well spend an extra 25 to get video ads and have a way higher chance of hitting big. Do not steal. Facebook hates it. Your feedback score is going to drop. It's a little bit advanced, but Facebook hates people that's stealing, so don't steal, just to make that thing short. How do you do your Facebook ads? You're going to want to make 1 campaign that's going to be 7 ad sets, maybe 10 ad sets in some cases. So when do I do 10 ad sets? I do 10 ad sets when I really do believe in a product. Like, I have massive hopes for this product. I might do 10 ad sets, but usually just test with 7 ad sets running at $10 a day. You want to do Instagram and Facebook feed only, because that's where you catch attention. Keep in mind, this is my strategy. And then worldwide countries, you know, just go worldwide, but exclude the bad countries. So countries that can afford it, I have a list on it. I can put the list down in the description. There are some countries you guys should not advertise to. That will be at the bottom of the description. Always run all ages. Just keep it really broad when testing. Always broad when testing, and you could narrow it down later on, because Facebook is broad now, so they will understand what you want later on, and they'll figure out the best audience for you. So go broad when testing, and you can narrow a little bit more down when you're scaling. Some of the interests got to be super related. You want to have a couple of related interests, but some of them also want to be nonsense. So for example, a healthcare product, I targeted home, which has nothing to do with it. I targeted movies for a healthcare product. Targeted alcohol, that's actually kind of related, but movies doesn't have anything to do with healthcare, and it popped off. So target some nonsense interests, but target a lot of them that's also specific to. I'm not saying only go out there and put in whatever you can find. Make sure your detailed targeting is on point, and that you have some nonsense in there as well, but make sure you also have some stuff that's really related and some stuff that's kind of related. Ad creatives is everything. I already sort of covered this thing, but you will have a highest chance of succeeding when testing with ad creatives. Super important, because this thing is what's going to grab people's attention, is what's going to make them driven to come to your store and buy from you, and the click-through rate and everything. So ad creatives is super important. It might break even when you're testing. I usually profit when I'm testing. Like I said, my product is usually profitable right out of the gate, but sometimes you break even when you're testing. But if you're breaking even, you're not losing money, so I think you're good to go. And one other thing that I don't do, which I know some people do, I have a friend of mine making millions a month in revenue, and he tests with CBO, but I do not test with CBO. This is my strategy, so just test with a $10 one. Scaling your Facebook ads after 24 to 48 hours. This is the goal, guys. You want to have around like 3 sales in 1 ad set in order to duplicate it to $25 a day. So if an ad set has like 2 sales, unless it's high ticket, if a high ticket item has 2 sales in 1 day or 48 hours, you can duplicate it after 2 sales to higher budget. But usually when running just a normal product, medium ticket to low ticket, whatever, just get 3 sales and duplicate to 25 a day, because 2 sales could be lucky. It's not enough data, but after 3 sales, you should usually be able to duplicate to 25 a day. The $25 a day duplicate has a higher chance of flopping the longer you wait to make it. So if it takes you 5 days to get 3 sales in an ad set, 25 duplicate is usually going to do worse than if it takes you 1 day. Don't run lookalikes before you have 100 sales. Whatever the gurus tell you is usually a lie, because lookalikes doesn't really work too well before 100 sales, and a pixel is way better at 50 to 100 sales. So the thing is, you might be losing out on interest when you're testing. You test, for example, the interest called healthcare, and it performs terrible, but once you have 50 to 100 sales and your pixel is optimized, Facebook starts favoring you, you could try healthcare again as an interest, and it works just because you're on Facebook right path. Don't make $50 ads too early. Super important key factor here, because $25 ads has worked really well, but $50 ads usually don't work unless you have like 20-30 sales on them. So don't be too quick to pull the trigger on the $50 ad set. Rather make an extra 25. Duplicate same ad sets without changing anything. This is a really cool metric on Facebook. So if you duplicate the $10 ad set, the interest is kitchen, you don't change anything, you just duplicate it, just a copy of it, it reaches new people in the audience, because your old kitchen interest, it's already optimized to a certain percentage inside the audience that Facebook think could buy this product, and it is optimized. So if you want to reach new people inside the audience, because you can't reach 100 million in the audience size with the $10 ad set. So if you want to find new people in the audience that could also be qualified to buy from you, just letting the ad set re-optimize, you could just make a duplicate without changing anything, just to find new people in the audience. So if you have a better pixel, this is the last step here on this section of the PowerPoint, the better your pixel is, the more likely you are to score big on no interest ad sets. So if you have a pixel with 1,000 sales, you could run ad sets with no interest, and Facebook already knows who you want to target. So if you're running Black Friday, for example, just depending on your data and doing no interest, it's going to be super cool, but don't do no interest too early. So what's your goal in the early scaling phase, you might ask? Your goal in the early scaling phase is always going to be 2 to 3 $25 duplicates. That means you will have, for example, 3 ad sets that's already duplicated to 25, 3 different interests, for example. Obviously the goal is always to get 3 sales in 1 ad set, but if you want to scale the product long term, you want to have like 3 interests that has 3 sales each, so you can have 3 $25 duplicates. That's super important in order to see if the product is going to last, because, you know, being carried by only 1 interest, I had a guy in my coaching coaching program makes 3k a day just depending on one interest, but that can get scary really quick if that interest dies out. So 3 to 5 ad sets with 7 sales each for a CBO is going to be super important. So let's just say you have in between 3 and 5, let's say you have 4 ad sets and they have 7 plus sales each. You can duplicate them into a CBO. So CBO usually do good. You do like $50 each ad set. So it's a 4 ad set, that's going to be $50 times 4, and that's $200 CBO running for 30 hours. CBO will pick up a little late, so don't be scared if it spends like $70 without a sale, because then it usually just blows up randomly. So that's also a goal, to get a couple of ad sets to like 7 sales. That's also a really good indicator. It looks promising after like the first 3 to 5 to 7 days. First week you want to make your first CBO. So after 7 days you want to have your first CBO up and going. That means obviously 3 to 5 ad sets with 7 sales. You can do that the first week. The product looks really promising, and this is actually a blueprint that can scale you up to 5k a day. I used the blueprint for 10k a day. Obviously scaling higher than 10k a day is gonna have some other advanced stuff, but with the right product, this is honestly the formula to like 10k a day. Obviously making multiple CBOs, multiple $25 ad sets, multiple interests, but you can scale to 10k a day super profitably just by using this strategy, and I can prove it. So split test the detailed targeting expansion button on and off. I had 2 ad sets. They were running at $25 a day, one with detailed targeting expansion button on and one with it off, and the one with it on had 14 ROAS, or 14.9, let's just say 15, and the one with it off had only 7 ROAS. So Facebook is broad now, so the detailed targeting button can actually work super well. So don't listen to the 2017 info of that button not working, but it's always worth playtesting everything just like that button, see if it can work better with it off, for example. So the last thing you guys have to do to make your dropshipping store win is to subscribe. If you do not click that button, it's not gonna look too promising for you. And that's gonna be this video, guys. You guys watching are the best, and I'm so thankful for you guys bringing me to 2,000 subscribers. We're even getting closer and closer to 3k every day. Oh yeah, yes, I appreciate you guys so much. You don't even know, because you just think I'm here to have fun and show you guys how to run ads, but I actually appreciate you guys so much. You could do whatever you want to do in your life, guys, so just keep chasing the dream. And please leave a like on this video, press the thumbs up button, make sure you subscribe to the channel. The camera right now is in another place, but that's all good, and you'll be seeing me in the next video. But please subscribe and like.